Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mark with OriginalHumanGeek here, bringing you the first of many to come Destiny lore videos. I'm having a blast making these for Halo, and with Luke and I's new dive into the Destiny story, I figured I would go ahead and top this on there too, because Destiny has a ton of hidden content and lore, and it's just fascinating. So without further ado, let's hop right into this first episode where we're going to be covering the events of the arrival of the Traveler and the Ares 1 mission. Every tale has its heroes and its villains. Generally, the lines between the two are clear-cut, but sometimes those lines can be blurred. Which is the hero and which is the villain? Perspective is everything. Who truly works for the light and who truly works for the darkness? Before that question can be answered, explanations have to be given. The stories of the Traveler and of the Darkness. I am Mark, your storyteller. We begin with the coming of the Traveler. Everything changed with the coming of the Traveler. It gave us gifts that transformed the solar system and the nature of human life. It ushered in the Golden Age, a time of miracles. But it never shared its deepest secrets. Where did the Traveler come from? Why did it offer us so much? Did it know it was being hunted across the stars? And why, when the darkness came, did it choose to stay and fight for us? Now the Traveler hangs silent above humanity's final sanctuary. It may be healing, it may be dying. It gave everything it had to save us, and now its power lies with us, its guardians. Something hit us, killed our Golden Age, nearly wiped us out. Only the Traveler saved us, and at a shattering cost. The speaker tells of a cosmic force that swept over us and caused the collapse. Legend calls it the Darkness, the Traveler's ancient enemy, which hunted it across space. All we have left are questions. Centuries of debate gave birth to competing arguments on the nature of the Darkness and the collapse. For example, the Pajari position describes the Darkness as a force with both physical and moral presence, an actualization of evil. Pajari art depicts the Darkness as a great storm, or as a change in conduct, a corruption that emerges from within and poisoned the Golden Age. Saint 14's position argues that the Darkness was an invading armada, an alien force of incredible but yet tangible power. Some adherents believe that this armada sprang from species rejected or discarded by the Traveler for their sins. Ulan Tan's thesis considers the Darkness a necessary symmetry to the Traveler in a cosmic balance. In this view, the Traveler's goodness led it to sacrifice for others, but it is up to us to return this goodness by healing the Traveler. There have been many others to hypothesize the nature of both the Traveler and the Darkness. Certain positions, often labeled heretical, imply that the Traveler itself triggered the collapse, or that it knew the Darkness was coming for it and hoped to use the solar system as a sacrifice or a proxy army. The binary star cult is one such notable example. Regardless of whatever the truth may be, we must first tell the coming of the Traveler to our solar system. Fragmented records from before the Golden Age tell of the crew of the Ares 1. The following passages are all recorded entries from the crew. Can someone get the lights? Mr. Canterbury, I noticed your wife was still giving a toast out there. Yes, I know. Thank you all for breaking away from the party. Now, if you all look at the screen, can we get some introductions? Hardy, Special Flight Services. I'm, never here. I don't know anybody. And you are? Evie, sir. Evie Calumet. Evie's one of our leading theoretical physicists. She has something important to show security services. Okay? This shape, you see? It was important to show me a moon? Not a moon. The weight's wrong, and anyway, it shouldn't be there. Is that planet beside it Jupiter? Does everybody get that? This thing just appeared in our solar system, and it's anyone guess why. What are the capabilities? So far, we don't know. Maybe it's just a roving satellite? Maybe it's something a lot scarier. Jacob, you got a minute? A minute, but then I gotta go. There's this thing in Belarus. I should be back Monday. If you're in a hurry, can I have your brownie? You can have half. What did you want to show me? Moon X is back. Oh boy, we saw what it did to Jupiter. Or with. You could think of it as with Jupiter. Whatever, the thing made some major changes to two of Jupiter's moons. Yep, then it blinks out, gone for 14 months, then Mercury, and then blink out again, 7 months, and you can't track it. I think I might have a way. But right now, that doesn't matter, because guess what just showed up hanging out next to Venus? You're kidding. I wish. Let me see that. What's it gonna do there? I don't know. Magic, I guess. You know what really worries me? Next time it blinks out, where does it go? Where does it go? You can have the rest of my brownie. We were in the Rathskeller. If you don't know what that is, I didn't at the time, but it's sort of a restaurant and bar underground, not far from the bookstore. Hundreds of years old. This wasn't Beijing. Back then we lived in Australia, Sydney, and I had gone to have lunch with my dad at the university where he was teaching. So I brought all this information about looking for colleges. I remember we had holograms floating all around the table while we ate pizza, and it was a great time, you know? Anyway, there was this TV playing, and that was the first time we saw it. Drone footage from the edge of the solar system. Something had come in that no one had expected. My dad looked up and he just froze, like his mind just flipped on and he was lost. He would get like that. That was the first time we saw the thing that everyone eventually called the Traveler. Been here a week and the clubhouse feels like home now. Everyone is in another space, everyone with their own work to do. Wish I had the same faith in humanity. That riot between competing Moonex cults in New Orleans, not a good sign. The crew is everything they were sold as. The Navigator, his name is Qiao, is one of the most inquisitive men I've ever met. He has a curiosity that makes his whole face glow. Mihaylova is working on the AI of the ship. She's very serious. Trained well enough to treat the team with respect, but you can tell she's not interested in answering questions from lesser intellects, which is probably most of us, at least in her field. Evie could give her a run for her money, I'll bet. Evie, whose theories on tracking Moon X gave us the first jump on where we could go to meet it. She just looked this way. Guess she can tell I'm writing about her. Colleagues, I read with interest your article on the work at the Uppsala Center on the use of AI in aiding emergency medical workers during the recent tsunamis in Japan. In light of the news of that large, mysterious moon, satellite, ship, entering our solar system, I do not agree that AI can be of help in more than logistics. It can make people safe. I feel certain that this Moon X is an intelligence, perhaps an AI, and I don't feel safe with it at all, do you? But bear this in mind, for our own AI to serve us well, it will need secrets too. For AI to serve humanity, we must feel comfortable, and for us to feel comfortable, we must never know the truth, that we have a servant who would surpass us if ever it desired. Of course it won't, because we control it, but we should not doubt that it is a necessary subterfuge nonetheless. Sincerely, Dr. M. Mihaylova, Nicholas and Alexandra University. Have you seen my lab? What in the world is going on? Have they already been in? Who's they? The computers are gone. The cabinets have been emptied out. Oh, well, this isn't how it was supposed to go. Dr. Mihaylova, please sit. I will not sit. What's happening? Have I been terminated? What are you people... For heaven's sake, no. Your equipment is safe. It's been moved. You've been chosen to design the AI for the Catamaran mission. I'm in the middle of my research here. Well, now you're going to continue it there. And look, you'll be a household name. I don't have any interest in that. Ah, but they're interested in you. Hang on. What? I just sent you your itinerary. You're on a flight, Dr. Mihaylova. This afternoon, you're going to meet your computers at Central Command in Florida. Look at it this way. You'll get some sun. Okay, whoever this is, you have 30 seconds. The whole point of vacationing at the bottom of the ocean is to avoid calls. It's Fiedler, Hardy. Oh, yes, sir. It's about Moon X. Sir, your friend Evie was right. It's almost impossible to track, but she has a way. And now it showed up right where she said it would, inbound to Mars. Did you copy? It's gonna be on Mars. You saw what it did to Jupiter and Mercury and Venus, so we want to send a multinational crew to intercept it. Multinational, you'll be the pilot of the craft. Look, I don't disagree with the idea, but Mars is 50 million kilometers away. Give or take, yeah. The mission will have to depart from Mars in 2 months. 60 days. 60 days? So enjoy your vacation and then get back here. We're building a clubhouse and a ship. We're gonna catch this sucker. What, you don't play basketball? Of course I do. Okay, so me and Mihaylova against you and Evie. Oh, we'll wipe the floor with you. Don't be so sure. How's the nav coming? All told, beautiful. All told, beautiful. With Mahay's AI and Evie's theories, we don't want to accidentally run into it. It? Moon X. Ah, too slow. Hey, no traveling. Sorry. Got it. Not so fast. 2 points. You want to talk about fast? Wait. Huh? Okay. What? Traveling. Moon X. Look, we need to stop even thinking of it as a satellite or a false moon. It's big, but it acts alive. This thing moves with purpose. It's a visitor. It's a traveler. The situation with E becomes increasingly tenuous. She insists she needs access to the AI code for her gravity well measurements, which I find highly unlikely. It's simply not necessary, and I've given her all the subroutine code that she could possibly need. But she wants it all. It's absurd. What would she make of the R subsystems if she saw them? R. That's what I've codenamed the deepest core of the experimental AI at the heart of the new ship, and he's doing very well, now writing his own code. Off the charts well. Would E even understand? Likely she'd go running to Hardy, show him some of the odder items where R has written some of his own code and seems to be, how can I put it, passing judgment on us? Like a little hidden critic. No. The AI must be protected so that he can function best in the limited way we need. Not sure how to keep her away, but giving her access could be catastrophic. Mihaylova and Evie continue to have conflict that is completely unnecessary. It puts a strain on the Clubhouse. I know Jacob is trying to get a handle on it. The latest in this ridiculous argument about the subroutine of the AI code. Evie wants to get a look at all of Mihaylova's code to make sure it takes into account the gravity measurements she's taking to plot the possible movements of the Traveler. Traveler, yes. Such a perfect name. Go, Evie. Anyway, Mihaylova simply refuses to unlock all of her code. Not outright, of course, she just deflects, underdelivers, won't let Evie into the whole thing. I'm not interested in this conflict. I have my own ways of unlocking every piece of code in the onboard systems, so I gave Evie access. I mentioned it afterwards to Mihaylova, and I expected her to react badly, but of course, things don't always work out the way you expect. She just got very quiet and said, "Well, Qiao, what's done is done." Listen, I want to talk to you alone. Alright? Have you read some of these outputs? I think there's some serious errors here. Don't be absurd. It's got these code caches, and it's creating assessments of us, of the project, of the crew. It commented on Qiao's snoring when he was asleep. Look here. Did you print that out? Of course! Okay, alright, so what do you propose? Bringing it to Hardy? Ugh, of course. What's that supposed to mean? I mean, look, you're right. It must be an error. This is all embarrassing. Let me see if I can fix it. Give me a day. We don't have a day. 12 hours then. Let me try to locate the problem, and if I can't, of course we'll take it to the whole team. Are you certain you can? Oh, I have to. 12 hours. By then, I swear, we'll have it all squared away. We're 24 hours late. I've never seen the crew in such a crappy mood. It was so stupid. An electrical fire in a clubhouse stairwell. One minute, Evie's putting some final touches on her calculations as was headed off to do a telecast about the effects of flash erosion on coastal tides, and the next, we didn't even notice she was gone. We learn about cascading events, how catastrophe comes from one thing stacking onto another. A fried electrical system, a weak sprinkler, smoke, no one else paying attention, spill in the stairwell, making the steps slippery. Our safe cocoon became a death trap. Of course, we're still going, but Evie put us here, and now we're going to meet the Traveler without her. The truth is, I know I'll lose myself in the amazement of it all. I will, I know it. But just remember I felt this way. One more thing. They've given us guns and renamed us. Something about needing to be prepared for the worst. Aries, this is Centcom. Radio check over. Centcom, this is Aries 1. We read you loud and fairly clearly over. Roger. Hey, just so you know, the House of Eternal Travel has sent you its prayers. It was all over the news. That one of those traveler cults? Roger. This is the one that survived the traveler cult rumble a few weeks ago. Oh, well, okay. Tell them thanks. Roger. Next radio check in 8 minutes. They'll be quiet for a while. Nav? Steady. We are clear of Earth grav. Confirming course. Engineering? All systems normal. Okay, so now it's a long wait. Hey, you okay, Jacob? Yeah, A-okay. Look at the stars. Is there a problem? Not at all. It's just beautiful. Yes, like something we're privileged to join but could never deserve. Wonder how the Traveler must feel. had to start a lot of that over. Let's talk about your background. You were one of the heroes of the Ares 1, right? Heroes? No. We were scientists. Very well. So as a scientist, the system you designed, I designed the AI. And did the AI run the mission? Oh no, it couldn't have back then. We had no idea what we were going to find. MoonX was a terraformer. We could run into oceans, storms, and indeed, landing was a mess. So we needed the best AI with extreme flexibility, because it would be better if Hardy could take the ship in his hands. Project Catamaran was secret and probably dead as soon as it started. Crazy to run out and meet something like that. It was good work. Most of the AI code I started there didn't really get used for the mission, but it came in handy. I mean, where do you think... Dean Qiao, thank you for answering all these questions about Ares 1. No, thank you. I love it. Do you remember where you were when you first heard about the mission? I do remember where I was when I got the call. It wasn't called Ares then, of course. Until launch day, it was called Project Catamaran. Anyway, my oldest daughter was applying to the university, and we had flown in from our home in Sydney to visit. We had lunch with some professors, and afterwards we visited one of the dorms, just over there. It's not there anymore. Thank God, it was an old dorm. There were protests all over that day. The MoonX cults were in full force, calling for all governments to combine. I took the call in the drone we rented for the day. They wanted me to cut the visit short, but I refused. They wanted to be gone for a year and a half. They could wait until morning. The mission is a go. Crew of 3. Mihaylova, Qiao, myself. Immediate departure at the next home window to Mars. The MREs and return ships will chase us out. How do I feel? I said at the press conference that I felt privileged. Historians will read this diary, but it won't take their insight to tell the world that I'm terrified. It's the human reaction. What I wish I convey is the exhilaration. That's the biggest thing. I'm not a spiritual man, but I've always believed there's something transcendent about spaceflight, something pure. We go out there because we can, because it's who we are. Now we go because we have to, because the unknown came to us. In 14 months we'll be face to face with it, and by the time we arrive, it should be active again, just like it was active on Jupiter, and Mercury, and Venus. I wonder what happens if it doesn't stop at Mars. I wonder if it'll leave us there in the sand, and come to Earth, and do here what it's done everywhere else. But I hate that we're carrying weapons. I understand the necessity, but I hold it to my belief. There's something beautiful out there. It's up to us to reach it. Everybody asks about the words. The truth is, I'm not much of a poet. Ares 1 didn't leave us with bandwidth for anything except blunt competence. We came in perilously hot, trying to select a landing site through the chaos of thickening atmosphere and turbulence that bloomed off the target. A 20-minute round-trip light-speed delay to Earth meant we could only count on ourselves. When the number 3 engine went diagnostic during the second course correction, I thought we might go catastrophic. But Qiao brought us in, Mihaylova brought us in, I just flew the ship. The Ares 1 excursion vehicle was built for thin winds and icy dust. We came down into a storm, the breath of God, a ripple of change rolling off the artifact. We aborted on 3 sites, and finally I took us into a powered hover and brought us down on reflexes and instinct. Then we ran the checklists, suited up, and left the vehicle. There was a script, and it's true, I botched it. I got my boots down and I made the most famous gaffe in human history. Said the first thing that came to mind, but warning to the others. We're walking into a rising wind. I didn't mean to say anything immortal. I just thought it'd be useful to know. The hike from Ares 1. You've watched it. Everything was recorded. I think you can get it in full immersion now, and fly around like a hummingbird. I'll add what I can. The route was planned. We all went together. The CEV and Ares 1 itself had enough automation to go home alone in the event of a crew loss. Whatever we'd find at the artifact needed the human element. We carried rifles. They made us heavier and slower, and probably less safe. I think the argument about the rifles can be left for another time, though. What's important is, it turned out well. Look at me. Look at us. You're talking to a 90-year-old man, a 90-year-old who's never been sharper. I'm miles ahead of every cognitive benchmark. What's happened to me is good. What's happened to all of us is good. When we crested that rise and made visual contact with the artifact, I don't think any one of us dared dream that it would end this well. We went to Mars at the cutting edge of human civilization, and it wasn't our weapons that won the day. It was our ship, our training, our camaraderie, Our belief that if we just reached out to the universe, not to grasp for profit or security, but with an open hand, we would be elevated. We were right. That makes me so happy to this day. Three human beings stood on a high ridge and saw the shape of the future, saw rain strike a millennia-old desert, felt the air sweetened with oxygen and warm water and the beginnings of life. I'm sometimes asked if I felt something die, the end of an era of human self-sufficiency. I don't know how to answer that question. I do know that I was changed. Nobody could experience that kind of wonder and remain unchanged. The decades since have proven that to me. I knew I'd never fly another mission like that. I recognized the need for a new love. That's why I threw my fresh cognitive skills into understanding the Traveler. How can one entity so quickly and utterly remake an entire world? 50 years later, I'm conversant in high mathematics, particularly topological thoughts and the slippery irreality of light. I'm involved in a project to study the Traveler's terraforming actions right now, but I still enjoy the interviews. I like going back to that mission. It makes me unspeakably happy to see how well it all turned out, and it makes me happy to remember I was there. The Traveler changed everything. It reshaped the solar system as decisively as it shattered our scientific and philosophical frameworks. To our ancestors, it must have been a hammer blow, a glimpse beyond the horizon of expected possibility and into a realm of transcendent power. The Traveler kindled the Golden Age, but we built it. We remember this with pride, even after so much else has been lost. We settled our solar system and filled it with our work. Today, cryptarchs and scholars work to distill the legends of the Golden Age into truth. We know that humans lived longer, flew further, and knew more. We know that countless ancient diseases and hatreds were extinguished forever. Human aspiration gave birth to vast engineering projects, sweeping social movements, and even new forms of life. The Golden Age was not without challenges. Sources speak of internal strife, philosophical rifts, particularly around the questions of machine intelligence and mind-forking, and enduring scientific enigmas. But humanity and its machine children tackled these problems with pride, vigor, and a contagious sense of pluralist compassion. Alright everybody, that is it for part 1. I hope you enjoyed the contents of the Ares 1 mission. I know it's a very interesting subject to learn how the Traveler came to the solar system centuries and centuries before the events of the first game. So go ahead and leave a like if you like that, and any other particular subjects that you'd like me to tackle in the Destiny lore, please leave those in the comments. And also, while you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified anytime the Geeks put out new content. It's free to try, and you can always change your mind later, and it really helps us out. So thank you guys so much for watching again, and until next time, this is Mark with Original Human Geek, signing off.